It's hard to know how to recycle properly, and it's even harder to make it part of your everyday life. Now, we know that in this day and age, it is impossible to live without creating waste, so recycling must play a big part in our everyday lives. At Refill and Go, we can help make recycling easy for everyone. If you follow our hints and tips, you'll also make recycling a habit to form part of your everyday life, so you can feel good about doing your bit for the environment without even thinking about it, and also you could become a recycling champion. Our personal journey started one day when I went out to clean out the back of our car. It made me feel bad that there were pop bottles, drinks cartons everywhere, crisp wrappers, sweet wrappers, you name it, we had it. And the kids in the back of the car, they never emptied it, you know what kids are like. However, on this day, when I had come to clean it out, I was disgusted with myself. Now, I couldn't really blame it on the kids. We'd not taught them. Do you know what I mean? We were part of the problem with the throwaway nation. And yeah, normally I'd just go in the car, throw it all away, and I wouldn't even think about recycling it. It's not good. But this got us thinking, how will our children grow up? How are they going to look at waste like this? If I'm not teaching them, they're not going to teach anyone, and they're going to carry on throughout their lives doing this. And that is the last thing that I want. And on this day, I just had the realisation, it was like a wake-up moment for me. Basically, to get my act into gear, to get it sorted, to teach my kids. So we started out basically, because we didn't know about recycling, so we started researching all different areas of our lives where we could make improvements to. We found a zero waste shop in Leeds, which was then the Jar Tree, run by a gentleman called Ian. Fantastic guy. Went to see him a few times just to get an understanding of how the shop worked, the concept, and also what it does for the environment. And I was sold. It was amazing. It was a quirky way to shop. It was a new way to shop. But it wasn't just a fad. You felt like you were making a real improvement by shopping that way. And yeah, it became contagious. It became a habit. And it was a really good habit that we've created. And it was at that point, I always said my dream would be to have that sort of shop, to have that, to be within that environment where I can teach people as well. So all starting from emptying the back of the car to moving on to me living my dream. So when I got made redundant from my full-time employment, I was in an opportunity where what do I need, what do I want to do for the job? I was grateful in the fact that because I've been made redundant, I had some money. So I was able to pick and choose to an extent what I wanted to do, and without hesitation, this is what I wanted to do. And I opened Refill and Go. No, I've done it as a business, but I've done it to learn the local community as well, which we're very, very proud of. But it just shows you where your paths can lead by changing habits, and yeah, it's a really good feeling. If you have a look in the dictionary, that defines recycling as the process of collecting and changing old paper, glass and plastic so that it can be used again. So basically, recycling is using items that are going to be thrown away and changing them into reusable materials or into objects that you can use and give another life to. What a lot of people also say is, why bother though? It's not going to affect me. Wrong. It might not affect us directly in our day and age, but it's going to affect our kids. Do you know what I mean? If we don't have kids, it's going to affect someone who you know who has kids. This problem is not going away. This is where we need everyone to do whatever they can with regards to recycling. That's the main reason to why bother. I mean, the earth, that recycles its own materials naturally. So from dead plants, animals, it becomes to feed new plant life, make new soil, replenish itself. So we should take cues from there. So any of the waste that we've got, we should recycle the best that we can. We should give it 100% effort to make sure that any recyclable material that we've got, let's do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't take too long to do. Since the invention of plastic from oil, it's gotten everywhere. It's overwhelming landfills because it doesn't decay, and it's filling the oceans with debris, and that's harming and even kills all marine life. Everyone wants their children to grow up in our beautiful world, to be able to visit and learn about beautiful places. But if we do not make changes in our habits, these places are not going to be around for future generations to enjoy. As it is, our Earth cannot cope with the current level of destruction. By failing to reuse what we already have, we may run out of resources. Not recycling it also destroys natural habitats. Recycling and composting reduce how much greenhouse gases are released, so in return it helps us to reduce climate change also. Where do we start? Great question. So this was our most difficult. Obviously I'd seen all the plastic, I knew what I needed to do, but where do I start? Improving your recycling habits, it's not as hard or as complicated to do as you might think. The good news, We made this process easy by providing recommendations, tips and tricks that are going to help you get started with making changes in the right direction and implement the practices into your hard-working family lifestyle. So join us as we show you how easy it can be to make recycling a normal part of your life. So you'll learn about the benefits and improve your own personal methods for doing so, all without feeling like an environmental delinquent. With our easy to follow steps and helpful tips, you'll be recycling like a pro in no time. We know that with the right tools for change, it can become part of your family's lifestyle. We will show you how to improve your recycling habits. Not only are these new habits good for Mother Earth, but they also have many other positive effects like increasing self-esteem in children who enjoy doing something productive. So now it's time to make those green dreams come true by making small changes every single week, which add up over the months. Hack number 1. Reduce or reuse first. So instead of just recycling, why not eliminate the item in the first place by not buying it? Or if it is a must buy, why not reuse or repurpose the item instead? So for example, local nurseries, childminders, they will love to take clean materials from you such as old plastic bottles, large plastic jars, any sort of thing they can use for sensory purposes. So rather than throwing it away, what we would always recommend, first of all, get in touch with your local nursery, any childminders you may know, reach out, see if these items are any good to them. I guarantee you people will take these off your hands. People come in our shop all the time from these sort of professions and they're constantly asking. So if you put it out there, people will come and take it. The first thing about recycling, it's not that it's just a matter of putting used items in the green bin. Recycling, it also means reusing that object with a new purpose. And these sort of businesses, these sort of people, they will make that their habit. They will come and get that from you. If you don't have any ideas on how to repurpose any item, why not try to advertise it on social media? So we now live in a world where social media, we're always on our phones, there's selling sites, there's free sites. Now, this is one of my most valuable lessons. I used to have the belief if it wasn't good enough for me, then it's not good enough for anyone, so I would throw it away. I started to list things on stuff for sale, local sites, and it was amazing about how many people commented, can I have this, can I have this, can I have this? So we got rid of so much stuff that we would have sent to landfill. Shamefully, we would have sent it to landfill. But what other people use? And it's that old saying, one man's junk is another man's treasure. And people do want this stuff from you. What we also like to think as well is that you can pay it forward. So if you've got things like that, you can put it on for free. Do you know what I mean? Let someone else make use of it rather than it going to landfill. Like, that is the best tip I can give you for number 1. Hack number 2, separate bins for recycling. To make recycling easier, the first step is to have an area in your home where you can easily throw away any items that can be recycled. Now, if you've got room and also a budget, getting a separate bin makes perfect sense. It makes it so much easier for recycling. Make things even easier by having a different coloured lid. This helps young kids get involved too. Now, trust me, this really works. So, once we first got into the swing of it, I bought a few different bins, not too expensive, no flash. We had different coloured lids on there, so I would encourage our kids. Now, this was my biggest battle. You've heard the story about the back of the car. Trying to get them to change their habits was very hard. Having different coloured lids, that helped. It helped so much, to be fair, because the kids knew exactly where they had to go. Now, there's also other tips as well, which I'm going to tell you about in a second, which link up with this. But yeah, different coloured lids, it works. Now, if you don't want to spend any money, or if you are limited for space, don't worry. What we can also do is get a large cardboard box, have that in your kitchen area, so people can put recyclable materials in there. Now, remember, there's no food waste here, so it's not going to cause any nasty smells in your kitchen. Do you know what I mean? It will be clean stuff, it'll just need sorting at a further time, but put everything in there, what can be recycled, and away you go. Hack number 3. So, learn what can be recycled and where. So you shouldn't rely just on your green bin like we did. Not everything can be thrown away in the green bin. Now, this was one of our most valuable lessons. Looking back on it, I must have contaminated truckloads of recyclable plastics and materials because with our green bin, I was putting in there all sorts of plastics, cardboards. Now, these could be takeaway things and it was contaminated with food debris. Yeah, I was putting like bottles in there. This is in the days where we used bleach and that. I thought, oh, it's plastic, it'll go in the recycle bin. But it wasn't fully empty. There'd be stuff left in it. So you're contaminating the waste. So, yeah, this is one of the main lessons you're going to need to get used to. Now, recycling sites, they're amazing. You can have a look on there. Now, on our downloadable pack that we've put together, we've got a full list of different areas where you can recycle. We've also got the government link on there as well, so you can click on that for your local area. That'll show you where your local recycle centres are. Now, if you do go to recycle centres, if you have got them close to you, whether it's to take plastics, cardboards, anything like that, oils even, yeah, dispose of oil properly. Take that to a recycle centre. But again, glass as well. What I also learned as a tip was always take gloves with you, especially for the glass. We had a couple of near misses with that, so that's a top tip. Now, your local council website, that has information of, as I say, of all the different types of materials. For example, they'll list it all at different recycling sites. So make sure you have a look on there. I don't want you turning up and they don't actually recycle the materials that you're carrying. Before you do that, what I would do is check local shops, schools, churches, see if they're taking any materials. So I know here at Refill and Go, we started taking things in and what people could recycle, because we had the correct process to follow where we can send things off. But there's a lot of people out there doing it now, so such as felt tips, bottle lids, anything like that. Batteries, I know we've got a couple of local shops where they've got battery bins. You can go and put them in there. So have a look. You'll be surprised at how many people do these in your area. Like your local shops, they all do it. So by learning what can be recycled and where, this will help you understand better when you're shopping, and it'll also make you think as well when you're popping that stretchy plastic item in your trolley, in your basket. It gets you thinking. You'll think, you know what, there's some over there what are loose. Yeah, bananas have already got a skin on what protects them. I don't need it in this plastic. So it just gets you rethinking how you do your shopping. Hack number 4, use visual aids. Okay, so when I was talking about the bins before with the different colour lids, this is the other hack that you want to tie the two together. This will work, especially if you've got young children. So the next step is to provide support to learn how to recycle every day for you and your family. So reminders around your house are amazing triggers when you try to make this happen. So using the visual aids like posters, scorecards, it can help make the process so much easier. So my favourite idea will be designing some custom made stickers that say recycle, recycle me, recycle here. These worked amazing for our kids. So when you place them, you can make these posters, stickers, you can place them on your bin, above your bin, and it's a visual aid. And it becomes second nature. You're automatically glancing at it and you're knowing what you can put in that bin and what you can't put in that bin. Now, I know I keep mentioning the kids. It worked for me as well, and also for my wife. But it made the kids into champions, and it also made them very competitive as well, because what we did, we created a reward chart for them. Now, they get a sticker every time that they use that recycle bin. So our general waste bin now, it really needs emptying, but also because we're doing it all properly, it's just amazing. It's just so much less clutter, so much less waste. And yeah, the visual aids, they do help, they do work. So again, we've got some great templates as well which you can download. These are all available in the guide. So download the guide, you've got templates in there, you've got stickers in there, you've got reward charts in there. Even if it's just to give you an idea, because I know it's fun to make these with your kids. So yeah, have a look on there. Hack number 5, reducing food waste. So you can also reduce food waste by only cooking what you need or freeze. Use it another day. You might be surprised at what you can achieve by taking this small step, to be fair. So one of the best investments we made was a food waste bin. All of this big, sits in the kitchen, and we line that with a compostable liner. And if there is any food left over that we can't freeze, you know, from your meal, pop it in there. Now, as I mentioned on the previous hack with regards to the general waste bin, by doing this with the food waste, you do not need any black bags no more. You don't need any bin liners, because you've got all your recycled waste going in one bin. You've got all your glass and that stacked up in another area. You've got your food waste bin here, so there's no food debris. So your general bin, you don't need a bin liner. You've got no more nasty smells. You're saving money. It's cleaner. It's more hygienic. It's a win-win. And seriously, it does work. So the majority of food, that will go to landfill and it'll rot away. But food waste as well can generally be put into your brown bins. Just tie your caddy liner first, but don't put any liquids in it, such as oils. As I mentioned before, there's a separate process for them at your recycling points. So the next step is looking at your food waste. So not all food waste needs to go in the bin. Why not try to compost items, so such as potato skins, vegetable skins, even eggshells? They can all be composted. And then with that compost, why not try growing your own? You know what I mean? You can use that compost, grow your own carrots, grow your own veggies, potatoes. Hack number 6. So turn it into a habit. So the best possible advice we can give is to start slowly. Now, when I first started, I was like a bull in a china shop. My kids thought I'd gone mental. My wife wondered what I was doing. I was going through the cupboards, the drawers, everything, seeing what I could recycle because I'd caught this bug. But what I found with that is I burnt out very quickly as well. It all got too much. Now, seriously, it'll make you emotional. It makes you start questioning things. You're thinking, what? So I had to slow down. I got reined in by my wife. Luckily, I did. But that is the best advice I can give you, is take it a step at a time. Make it fun. Make it into a routine. And what that'll do, that'll make it into a habit. So pick a few hacks from this guide to implement first. So a routine creates a habit. Do each step for 30 days and then introduce the next step for 30 days. But only do that once you've mastered the first step. So even if it's something simple, recycling pop bottles, just make sure that it's mastered. Your kids know where the lids go, you know where the bottles go, and you can do that fluently with second nature. Then move on to your next step. It just makes it so much more easier. You're not taking too much on. Sit down with a family, go through this guide together, discuss any concerns, any answers, questions. I mean, your children, they will ask questions beforehand, and it'll just give them a little bit of comfort knowing that you're going to go on this journey together. So for children or even older family members, reward and positive reinforcement always helps in embedding in any habit into everyday family life. So habits, they will form quicker if all the family are trying at the same time. Remember the visual aids. Okay, these will help you create that habit. Okay, put reminders under the lid of the normal bin, banning recycled items so everyone is reminded when the bin's open. Been there, done that, open bin, whoa, that can't go in here. It's just a quick visual aid and you get used to it over time. So once people do get in a routine, they'll be no longer, you won't need this, it's not a necessity. You'll be able to take it down because it has become routine and you've created that habit that we're talking about. So family members, they will forget, you will forget, I forgot. That's okay. So again, forming a habit, it's a learning process. Either take the items out, resort them, or move on. Don't beat yourself up. There's always tomorrow. We're only human. You know what I mean? Just do the best that you can. Move forward. Think of recycling as a new experiment every time that you do it. After the first few times, your family will have gotten into a routine and they'll feel like they're doing it. Every step of it will become second nature. It'll come second nature to them, and you'll see that they've got a feeling of accomplishment on there as well. Before you know it, you and your family will be ready to move on to the next sustainability challenge. Okay, so now that we've run through all the hacks in our guide, I just wanted to tell you a story about one of our customers who we've helped, who's followed this process. She's done it firsthand. So Susan, she's a regular customer of ours, okay? She was working part-time, she had small children, and she was concerned about their future, so wanted to make a change while they were young enough. So she came to see us in early 2021. We didn't have this guide available at the time. Like, we didn't really have much support or information. We had to research it all online and second guess a lot of it. So we guided her through these steps, and now by following them, obviously recycling has become just a normal everyday process that she follows and one that she no longer thinks about. This wasn't the only thing that happened though. With Susan, she's now started other healthy habits as well by following this. So as she was checking food items in the supermarket to see what can be recycled before she purchased something, she started to notice the nutritional value, but also whether they would waste any of the food. She'd started planning the family's meals, so she stopped emotional shopping. Now, we've all been there. Never go shopping when you're hungry. She wasn't really terribly overweight, to be fair, but over the next 6 months, she'd lost almost a stone in weight, and she had so much more energy and time to spend with the kids, which I think is amazing, all from following these steps. Now, Susan and her husband, they started a compost heap, again, because they were thinking about the waste that they were producing, and this even led to them growing a small selection of vegetables in the back garden, from vegetables such as celery they had originally bought in the supermarket. Check it out, it's great. If you love celery, right, get the celery, chop the bottom off, put it in a glass with water, it'll re-stem, love it. Yeah, so Susan started doing that. But the final change in Susan's journey, it's also been making new friends as well. So Susan, she was wanting to use some of the 5-litre shampoo bottles, so we spoke about this earlier. She couldn't think of anywhere to get rid of it, so we said to her, put it on the free cycle, have a look at that. So she put it on the free cycle, and local nurseries reached out to her saying, can we take them? But also childminders as well, and parent groups. Now, this helped Susan because over time, she started to get invited to these parent and toddler groups because she's got 2 young children. So she was able to make new friends out of it as well, which I just think is amazing. All from starting recycling, you're losing weight, you're getting healthier, you're making better informed choices, you're making new friends. Like, for me, it's a win-win. Why wouldn't you want to recycle? So, as you can see, her life changed so much over last year, especially when we're coming out of COVID too. So, yeah, all this due to taking up recycling. I think it's amazing. So, that's just to give you an insight of what can happen, how it can help you and benefit you as a family. So, just a quick recap, and I've been going on a long time, so I'll leave it to it. But before I do go, we just want to take this opportunity to thank you for deciding to make a positive change in your life. Secondly, well done for downloading this guide. Without amazing people like you, this guide in itself would be a total waste of time. Me stood here going through this guide with you would be a total waste of time, so thank you. So throughout this guide, we've highlighted the easiest ways to improve your recycling techniques in your life. We've identified helpful products to simplify your journey to a more sustainable lifestyle, and we have included tips on how to include all the family and make the whole process a fun process. We've tried to make it attractive, engaging and educational. We hope this guide will benefit you as much as this process already has done for my family. When we first started our journey, there wasn't much support out there. We struggled with things we believed would be simple, such as the what, the where and the whens. Hopefully with our help, together, we can accelerate your journey, so you avoid the pitfalls and make it a standard practice in your life much sooner than we did. You can do this. So with the tools in this guide, you now have everything that you need to be able to sustain recycling as part of your lives forever. So remember, continuity is key, okay? And it's the first step in achieving a much cleaner, greener and more sustainable lifestyle. So we thank you, the future generations thank you, and planet Earth thanks you. So I do just want to say from the heart, well done guys. Give yourself a pat on the back. This is your first step to a whole new life. So well done. Thank you.